Man, we live. Y'all know how we do, bro. Always pushing help, well, better understand the self, giving praises to the Most High. So we got a good show today. I'm gonna go over a little bit of Trump. I'll go a little bit over Tariq Nasheed. I never went over anything of him on my channel before, but I'm gonna shout him out and give him some play on the channel. Trump been doing a lot, especially still beefing with Kamala Harris. I told one of my partners, I was like, Beyonce and Oprah and all of them got some money from Kamala Harris, and he was saying that they did it for free, but I doubt that. But that's neither here nor there. Trump just announced the Golden Dome over the United States, a defense system. Now, if y'all don't know, I don't like to say the country name, but the country, the Little Hats, they got this over there already. Shout out to Trev too, man. I was about to put a vertical live, but I'm just getting familiar with it. I got to play with it a little bit more. But I do like it. I do like it. So I'm gonna go over this Trump. I'm gonna get into some of the numbers too on how much it's costing us. It's billions of dollars, and we ain't really had no attacks like that. But I guess prevention is better than cure. You don't want to have to do it before it happens. But let's get into what Trump doing, and I want to know what y'all think in the comment section. They got some new things added to the stream yard. I want to see. I'm just seeing how it works. So let's get it. Without further, I'm ready to play some of it.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world, and even if they are launched from space, because this is very important for the success and even survival of our country. It's a pretty evil world out there. So this is something that goes a long way toward the survival of this great country. And as I said, we'll be discussing Canada. They want to hook in and they want to see if they can be a part of it. Now, this is a different league. There's never been anything like this. This is something that's going to be very protective. You can rest assured there'll be nothing like this. Nobody else is capable of building it either.
Was it something that military commanders asked you for? Did they ask you to do this?
Well, let me put it differently. I suggested it, and they all said, "We love the idea, sir."
Well, what you think about the dome, bro? What you think about the Golden Dome? My only thing about it is this: we already funded the small hat country for them to have their dome. It's like, why wouldn't we want our own dome? You know what I mean? I don't get that part. Why they would have it way before we have it, and they use all our resources. But what you think about that, William? Because you was in the army, military. I want to know how you feel about that. But I want to get into the numbers of this, right? Let's check out the numbers. How much this gonna cost? You know, what's the real science behind this? So let's get to the numbers. So here it says President Trump rolled out plans for the multi-billion-dollar Golden Dome missile defense shield system Tuesday and said that he anticipated it could be operational in roughly 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they were launched from other sides of the world, even if they were launched from space. We know he said that. We officially have selected the architect for this state of the art system that will deploy next generation technologies across the land. All right, how much is going to cost? Trump estimated that the project will cost roughly 175 billion and said an initial 25 billion has already been carved out in next year's defense funding package. So it's going to cost 175 billion. Dang. Um, what y'all think about that, man? Ours is going to have more tech. Okay, saying in the U.S. is going to have more tech. I feel you on that. Uh, that's what's up. So 175 billion in 3 years. That's a lot of money. I think we're gonna be paying for that. We're gonna be paying for that. World War III. Yeah, I'm with you on that. World War III. But they ain't gonna be able to shoot nothing in the country. Remember how we did Japan when we bombed Hiroshima? Bam! Innocent people, innocent kids, and all things got tore down. Nobody's not gonna be able to do that no more. So that's what's crazy. But I seen it work with the small hat country when they had the country they was beefing with was sending missiles over, they was blocking it. I'm gonna get into a little bit of Tariq Nasheed. Not here at least. Yeah, they ain't gonna be able to do that to us. But speaking of we was talking about Sada Shakur, right? And I seen Tariq Nasheed, he dropped something on Asada that I want to touch on alone. I want to touch on his Asada Shakur video. Ain't go dig too much into it, but I feel like it's something big. I don't got this on share, y'all. Give me 1 second. But I want y'all to see Asada Shakur. We've been talking about her on the channel. Some woman had some good feedback on it. I want to know what y'all think about this.
Murder, that of a New Jersey state trooper whose convicted killer has been living in Cuba. Our senior correspondent Eric Shawn reports on what's being done about that. Eric?
Hello, John. You know, she killed a state trooper on this day 52 years ago. And now there are new calls for President Trump to.
Now that's allegedly, bro. They keep saying that, but I mean I don't know if that's accurate. She didn't claim that she did that.
Bring her and other criminals who have evaded U.S. justice back from Cuba. Colonel Pat Callahan is the superintendent of the New Jersey State Police. He commands a force of 5,000. But when he arrives at the office every morning, he looks at the photograph of one trooper on the mantle behind him. It is the portrait of Trooper Werner Forster.
He's actually with my family member, too, so I view him as a family member.
Trooper Forster was 34 years old when he was shot to death in the line of duty during a traffic stop on the New Jersey Turnpike in 1973. Black Liberation Army radical Joanne Chesimard was convicted of killing him, but then escaped from prison and fled to Cuba, where she is protected.
Wait, y'all heard that word radical? See, anytime that's how they want to make it seem like we crazy or something like that. But I don't think they're telling the story right, in my opinion. I don't trust these news channels.
Protected by the Havana regime to this day.
I understand it's a sovereign nation and that there's no extradition policy, but here's somebody who's murdered a Jersey trooper who lives free. And that just really is painful for law enforcement, not only in
I'm
New
gonna
Jersey,
get
but
into
across
that
the
too,
country.
Will.
Return the fugitives from American justice, including the return of the cop killer, Joanne Chesimard.
President Trump has called for Cuba to cover up. Secretary of State Marco Rubio tells Fox News, quote, the Cuban regime continues to provide safe haven for terrorists and criminals, including...
Wait, is that her real name? Damn, that's her real name, bro. Joanne?
fugitives from the United States. The brutal killing of New Jersey State Trooper Werner Forster will never be forgotten, and we will never stop fighting for justice. There are an estimated 70 American fugitives living in Cuba. In 1975, banker Frank Connor was killed in a New York City terrorist bombing. The suspected FALN bomb maker, Willie Morales, is also in Cuba.
We have these convicted terrorists 90 miles from home. We have the economic leverage on Cuba to bring them back. Cut the deal, bring these guys back, and then we'll talk about how we're going to assist Cuba in the future.
It makes you mad. It makes you mad that Cuba harbors these terrorists and these fugitives.
A Senate bill named for Connor and Forster calls for the fugitives' extradition. It is sponsored by Florida Senator Rick Scott.
We got to understand who the regime in Cuba is. We've got to hold them accountable. We have to make sure there's no money that goes there. It's disgusting that some killer like this would be just roaming the streets in Cuba.
Colonel Callahan says he and his fellow troopers will not rest until Chesimard is behind bars. You want her back?
I'd want her back yesterday. And I have Trooper Forrester's handcuffs ready to go on her when she lands on that tarmac, wherever she is.
Those handcuffs are ready. But the Trump administration has been ramping up sanctions against Cuba. That means there is now new hope. The White House will finally be able to bring Chesimard and perhaps the other fugitives back here in the U.S. to finally face the justice they deserve.
Definitely. Let's get Aquette. I don't know how to pronounce your name, brother.
I'm a sister. First of all, it's Aquette Kava S.
There you go.
And that's my Semitic name. And how you doing, our brother Tyreek? And I love everything that you did on all your documentaries. And one of the things that I want to tell the brother about being from New Jersey and everywhere else, we are the all. And that's it. Our ancestors moved around, and that's exactly what we do right now.
So you're born and raised in Jersey?
Huh?
You're born and raised in Jersey?
Well, no. I'm originally, I'm actually, all right, let me go through my lineage.
Yes.
So my lineage, we come from North Carolina.
Right.
We are indigenous tribe, Wekapek.
So they talking about how they want to get Asada Shakur back over here. I think they gonna sound like, they called her by her government name, what she was originally named. But I like what you said, William, about the ancestors burnt down. I'm gonna get into that, the Confederate Museum. It's about time that thing got burnt down, but it's crazy. After all this time, now they want to get Asada Shakur. They just need to let that woman. They need to let that woman go. But I'm gonna get into my boy, Introvert Rockstar, man. He did one on the museum. Let me check it out. I ain't even check it out yet, but I seen him posted it 4 hours ago, so it's perfect time. Let's get it.
Phil continues at Fort Branch in North Carolina. Now, this is a reconstruction of the winter quarters of what the Confederate soldiers may have had.
Yeah, the tree.
Tar Heels. By the way, there's no real consensus on where the word Tar Heels or phrase Tar Heels came from. Lots of different stories. None of them have been confirmed. Okay. Hello. See, this will open. There you go. That's what it looks like on the inside.
A tree fell on it?
Not the most glorious of quarters, but for some folks, that might have actually been an improvement. And again, I'll show you the map. Well, actually, I don't think I showed you the map on the movie. This is the map of where it is. The river is the Roanoke River. This is called Rainbow Bend. And there's a map of all, but over here, pause this, try and read things.
Yeah, museum. That's crazy. It burnt down. The tree fell.
And look, y'all already know me. On this channel, we hold racist Caucasian people accountable, because if we don't, who will? And before I start this video, if you don't like black people, black issues, black talks, get to stepping. The word Tar Heel, while now a proud nickname for North Carolinians and the University of North Carolina's athletic teams, has a complex history and some troubling origins related to race and class. It initially referred to workers, both enslaved and poor, in North Carolina's pine forests, who often had tar or pitch on their feet due to the nature of their work. This led to the term being used as a derogatory term implying low socio-economic status. Make that make sense? So this fake ass tour guide of that museum lied, because Tar Heel does have a meaning to it. They use that word to shame our ancestors because of the work they was doing, because they were slaves in the field, and they use that word to shame them, to talk down on them. But this the cold part. A lot of people don't even know this, but our ancestors built the University of North Carolina Tar Heels campus. Check this out. Yes, the enslaved people contributed to the construction and maintenance of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, including the buildings known as Old East, Old West, and Gerald Hall. Make that make sense. So that's why they call themselves the Tar Heels. At one time, the football team had it on their helmets. It's really some disrespectful shit. But that's why I always say, shout out to the ancestors, the real get back game, because they don't sleep. And I love that shit. But before we go on, before we talk about anything else, before we talk about this racist ass museum, I want to show y'all how these plantations and these museums, they always lie about history. They try to make it sound good. They try to make it sound like they treated the slaves right, and they really didn't do all this dirt to our people. Now,
yeah, let me stop them. They be lying, bro. I went to a museum. They was talking about, it was in Florida. They were talking about the first black city in Florida, right? And then they didn't have any black Indians there. It was like they made it cured. I mean, they made sure to make the Indians look like they was Hispanic or something, bro. I'm like, I'm looking at them and I'm like, bro, we Cherokee Indian. We don't even look like this. And it's crazy how they be playing us in these museums to spread his story even more.
Now, this is a tour guide from Nottoway Plantation. Run the tape.
He had the most in this region. And that's because when he purchased a slave, if the slave had a wife and children, he'd buy the whole family so that they would never be separated. And so that was good for them. And then in the village, he built a cottage for each of those families so they could have to share with multiple families and squeeze into one space. So that was good too. They could hunt, they could fish, so they could buy for their own food. And they also built a hospital for them, and there was a doctor who would visit every week. And the doctor trained one of the slaves to be a nurse, take care of them. So for the readings that we had, it sounds like the slaves were treated fairly well,
family,
as well as the slaves can be treated, considering the conditions. When the war ended, the majority of the slaves stayed here. And we actually have descendants of the slaves who still work here today. Pretty amazing.
And I have to keep it 100. She lied. She said the slaves were treated fairly. How, Sway? In White Castle, Louisiana, enslaved people face systematic dehumanization, abuse, and denial of basic freedoms, mirroring the conditions across the state and the deep South. Make that make sense. And I told y'all in one of my videos that ancestors don't forget. It might take 30 years. It might take 50 years. It might take 70 years. But trust me, they don't forget.
Before it burned, Nottoway was the largest remaining antebellum mansion in the South.
It just devastated me because it's been there so long, you know, and because we've been here 25 years.
Many shared that sentiment.
Well, I mean, it's a part of history. I'm here in White Castle.
However, there are also many people I spoke to that are grateful the structure burned to the ground. I talked to one citizen in neighboring Plaquemine who asked to remain anonymous.
Most people are rejoicing because it burned down, because of the plantation kept slaves And a lot of people were like, oh, finally it burned down, free those souls.
Iberville Parish wrote on social media saying that while its early history is undeniably tied to a time of great injustice, over the last several decades, it evolved into a place of reflection, education, and dialogue. The ground's a big tourist attraction for the parish and a popular spot to exchange vows, also a controversial topic for people I spoke with.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That would be a beautiful place to have a wedding.
I feel like it's kind of disrespectful, but then again, I mean, it's whatever you do. You gonna do what you gonna do. At the end of the day, you judge by the man up above. I feel like that shouldn't be a thing, though. Yeah, have it somewhere else, like a church or something.
Back at the plantation area, the roads have been blocked off as work continues to secure the site.
Plantations-wise, I do not think it should be up. Maybe, maybe or maybe not, because there definitely should be like museums for people to go around, you know, learn their history. There's a lot of damaged souls, hurt souls that's on that yard and that field.
Joke.
And just like we had Nottoway Plantation completely destroyed, now we have a Confederate building, museum building completely destroyed, and it brought so much joy to my heart because I told y'all it's a shift happening. But I proved that at the end of this video. And this Facebook page called Dixie Forever, they was the page that broke the news. Check this out. The post reads, breaking sad news, the museum building at Fort Branch, North Carolina, Confederate earthworks was destroyed by a fallen tree. Last month, we were surprised to get a call informing us that a large tree has fallen on the museum. Unfortunately, it is a total loss. We intentionally delayed letting everyone know so that the artifacts could move and secured at a new location to avoid any theft. We have since learned that the insurance on the building is not enough to replace it. With today's cost, we are devastated. We are looking at other possibilities of funding, including creating a GoFundMe account. Please consider to help Fort Branch replace our museum and keep it available for future generations. Make that make sense. And how ironic, the same trees they hung our ancestors from was the same trees that crushed that museum, was the same trees that ruined that museum. And people don't think this is a big deal. It's a big deal. This is how these people pay their mortgage. This is how these people go on vacations, because they really live in the past. Like totally, their whole life is based on the past, trying to make themselves look good. And you can't make this shit up. I told you, the game is cold. And look, I gotta keep it real. I can't feel sorry for anyone. I don't feel sorry for those people, because that's what you get when you don't tell the truth about history. Our ancestors built these buildings, all of them on that museum. They built those buildings. I bet you they don't tell those tourists that. And they sit, they racist asses down and make money from our ancestors, from their hard work, from their sacrifice. Now look at you.
Mm-hmm.
And look, as a truck driver, if you know, you know, in North Carolina, once you get off those main interstates, the main highways, and you hit those back roads, you hit those mountain roads, you have just traveled back into 1862. Tell me I'm lying. And they love to say all Black people do is cry about slavery. How? Meanwhile, these people making thousands, sometimes millions of dollars from slavery. So you can't gaslight me. I see the whole play, my boy. And look, I have to calm down for this one, because this shit is funny as hell. This is the reason why I say some, I ain't gonna say all of North Carolina, but most of North Carolina is still stuck in 1862. These people at this museum are still reenacting scenes from the Civil War, a war that they lost. I'm talking about grown men dressing like they back in 1862. Make it make sense. Now tell me this, who really stuck in the past? See, in my opinion, this is only the beginning. See, you have to realize something. Spring is really the new year, and the ancestors been standing on business ever since. For example, Nottoway Plantation, it burnt up, it caught fire on May 15th, 2025. And that's not a coincidence. Remember that number, 15. Now check this out. In hoodoo and similar traditions, the number 15 is often associated with divine grace, overcoming challenges, and a new direction in life. It's also seen as a number that represents the synthesis of heaven and earth and the perfect completion of something. It's also considered a number of new beginnings and spiritual awakening. Make that make sense. So to you plantation owners, to you racist museum owners, get ready. Our ancestors are here. Hurricane season is coming up. And these tornadoes has been hitting all these sundown towns over and over. Tell me I'm lying. All the bloodshed from the backs of our people. Trust me, you will pay a price. Ashe. And before I go, in the words of James Brown, it's the big payback. Revenge.
Look, my brother. Hey, he laughing at them people, man. But yeah, salute, man. We ancestors ain't playing today, and it's good to know that these. I mean, they doing this. All the museums got a little bit of racist, like you said, race head. It's the other hand that's funding these museums, and they not telling the full story. We shouldn't get into numbers like that, though. We doing so good. Facts. Shout out to Yale Star, man. But yeah, they not saying nothing about how the black people was Indians. They don't say nothing about the Cherokee tribe that our families represent. It's like you go to these museums and they talk about Indians, you're gonna see like Spain looking people. It's like this is what they do. They migrate us. They migrate people into a place where black people at. Just like the $5 Indian story. I'm gonna tell y'all I'm gonna show y'all the $5 Indian story, bro. Where these people was literally getting paid. All you had to do was have $5 and you could become an Indian. And I remember that
late 1800s, there was something.
I'm on the I was on somebody chat and I was telling them how I'm Cherokee. I mean, I ain't even say I was Cherokee. I was just talking about the damage done in the United States. And some pale faced woman was like, me as an Indian, I mean, I'm over the past on what happened. And I'm like, lady, you got blonde hair and blue eyes. Your family was a $5 Indian, but y'all check this out.
Thing called the Dawes Rolls, which was basically a census that made records of people's ethnic backgrounds in order to determine which Native American tribes would get certain land allotments and other benefits. After slavery, many black people were associated with some of these tribes by bloodline, through marriage, through adoption, and even servitude. And because they were associated with these tribes,
they gonna say that the Indians had slaves. That's how they gonna lie. They like, no, the Indians had slaves. Like they just make up lie after lie after lie after lie, bro.
many black people were entitled to some of these benefits. The government did not want blacks to get these benefits, so they created a separate freedmen's list specifically for black people. They also started to list any full-blooded Native American who had African features as black because they didn't want them getting those benefits either. At the same time, they allowed white citizens to come in and pay money under the table to be listed as part Native American.
See what I'm saying, y'all? This the same thing goes everywhere in America. They migrated people over here to make it seem like it's their. That goes for Mexico. The Mayan tribe is us. All of this, all of the tradition, because America was like the most advanced civilization during time. They trying to bring everybody over here to make it seem like we don't got no history here, and it's these people. Like they're the ones that own this land.
1895, 1896, when a lot of the whites found out the benefits that these Indians, that these blacks are going to be entitled to, a lot of whites went to the Dawes Commission and say, look, why don't you put my name on there? They said, but you're not an Indian. So that's what they said, well, I'll give you $5. So the rule got around, the policy got around that for $5 that a white could put his name on the Dawes rolls and be called himself an Indian and be entitled to all these benefits, and all their children could be entitled to all these benefits forever. And so that became known as what's called a $5 Indian. And so if you go around now and check most of the Indians, the so-called Indians in America, about 90% of them are not even Indians. Those are just whites now who are passing as Indians. But they're getting all the benefits. And they're not paying any taxes, getting free college education. They put up a little reservation on the land that they don't live on. They have another home off and get all kind of benefits.
Iron Eyes Cody was another famous Native American person. He was in the media for years. In the 1970s, they utilized him for this pollution commercial. He was known as the Crying Indian. So he was a very well-known Native American in American culture. But the reality is, Iron Eyes Cody wasn't Native American at all. He was Sicilian. Both of his parents were from Sicily. So he didn't have one drop of Native American blood in him. He was another fake Indian.
Don't this remind you? But check it.
This week.
No, I don't know why they playing these bozos. We ain't doing this. But y'all, don't this remind you when people say they the real small hat people? Kuwait, man, appreciate you for tapping in. So I believe that it's a lot of history that we got that they just still in our story. You know, with the small hat people, with all everything, like even with the Mayan tribe. I'm telling y'all that those were black people, bro. Where they had the big faces and the big nose. Right now, if you go on this thing, they gonna make you feel like the Mayan tribe was not black. Even if you Googled it, I even Googled it. I'm like, they're like, no, the Mayan tribe is not black. Y'all check this out. This is black. These was black.
Everyone is wondering what is happening in Hollywood today.
But if you Google this,
this is an Aztec warrior. This is a Mayan warrior. They both come from an area known as Mesoamerica, which spans modern Mexico, Guatemala, and other parts of Central America. The Maya are a much older civilization than their Aztec neighbors, beginning in around 1800 BC and spreading from the Yucatan Peninsula to what is now part of Guatemala and Belize. The Aztecs came much later, with their capital Tenochtitlan around present-day Mexico City. Most of us know that both the Aztec and the Maya took part in human sacrifices, and both had feathered serpent gods. But what differences were there in their mythologies, and what, if anything, did they believe happened after death? The Aztec creation myth of the 5 suns. Both the Aztecs and the Maya believed that the universe existed in cycles of creation, destruction, and rebirth that continuously looped. The Aztec creation myth surrounds 5 suns, with each of these suns representing a new age or era. In the beginning, there was only the primordial god Ometecutli, his wife Omesihuatl, and the giant earth crocodile Chipacli. The 2 gods gave birth to 4 sons, Huitzilopochtli, Quetzalcoatl, Tezcatlipoca.
That's already telling you what they feel about who these people are. I don't know if it's not, but I feel like they're not showing. If you see pictures of people, they always show in other countries that they're black people.
And Xipe Totec. Tezcatlipoca and Quetzalcoatl decided to kill the earth crocodile Chipacli, dividing its body to form the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. This first world was filled with vegetarian giants who grazed on berries, but they needed a son to survive. So Tezcatlipoca was given this role and crowned the first son. Quetzalcoatl became jealous, so he knocked Tezcatlipoca out of the sky, usurping and replacing him as the sun. In anger, Tezcatlipoca came back and destroyed the first sun with jaguars. Quetzalcoatl created the second sun. This world was again destroyed by Tezcatlipoca, who this time used strong hurricanes. The third sun was created by Tlaloc, the rain and thunder god, which he destroyed in a rain of fire. Tlaloc's second wife, Chalchihuitlique, created the fourth sun, but this was destroyed by floods. That brings us to the fifth sun, ruled by the war and sun god Huitzilopochtli, which the Aztecs believed we currently live under. However, the Aztecs believed that this world will end too, with massive earthquakes. The Mayan creation story, Popol Vuh. We know about the Quiche Maya creation myth because of an ancient text called the Popol Vuh, which was written by a group of anonymous Quiche Maya nobles. In the Popol Vuh, the destruction and rebirth cycle surrounds the creation of humans. After the world was created by several deities, including
Brother Perry. But my point is, they all anytime they want to show us, they always show us as it's not us. The Blue Vein Society was the type of organization that aimed to identify who was white enough to be considered white. So it's like the same thing that we see in these museums. They telling a story that has nothing to do with explaining who the real Mayan tribe was. They not nobody never gonna say they was black. But as that video, I let y'all see that sister when I was talking about the truth. They don't want FBA to know. She was explaining that the Mayan tribe was us. And back to the history of Brother Perry. Who is that? Brother Perry, Brother Perry, Brother Perry. Oh, yeah. Right. Back to the history of Brother Perry. That's letting you know that these people was black because it's so long ago. But they know that this is the way that they like give their story and not give us, our story. But the Mayan civilization is something that they don't claim as ours. But it's definitely, look at the faces of these people that they try to say that's Mayan. Never see a black person. But they got the most advanced technology, the pyramids and stuff like that went to Egypt. We know all of the pyramids and the builders came from the Mayan tribe. Like they had, they were more progressive than anybody. But like y'all know, they don't give us nothing. It said who have a treaty coming to us? These $5 Indians are eating our lunch. Bro, billions of dollars went to these $5 Indians. They say if you just had $5, that's how you came over here. The migration game, like $5, which would be like $150 a day, and they give you the lineage of being an Indian. That's why a lot of these people, their cultures, they're not the culture that they are. They bought it, they bought a culture so they can have land. Yeah, there's more pyramids here than there. Yeah, bro. We was the builders. Like they went over there to help them out. Like they migrated over to Egypt and gave them the game. So it's just crazy how they give us this story, man. But we waking up now. 2025 that's the number 9. 2 plus 2 and 5 is 9. 9 is completion or awakening. That what you said, William? Creation or awakening. So that's a lot of people waking up to this. We have a treaty coming. Yeah, I think all of them $5 Indians, they got to be exposed, and something got to happen because it's crazy. Completion, right? Yeah, that 9 mean completion, because when a woman have a baby for 9 months, it's done, it's ready to come out. So you're right, that 9 is completion. But yeah, this brings us back to Brother Perry, bro, who got the oldest DNA. They got to stop putting these pale-faced people and trying to say that they from this tribe, they from that tribe. They've been doing that. It started with the Mayan tribe. Now they doing it with the $5 Indians. So it is what it is. But I wanted to show y'all the Black Chronicles. It was another. Shout out to Yam Star. She sent me something on Instagram about the I'm getting.
Did you know that you can form a Florida LLC for $0 plus state fees? It's really easy using Zen Business. Click on Start LLC.
It is a mystery that has baffled scientists for decades. In the lush forests of Suriname, a small South American nation with a powerful African presence, researchers began to notice
They do
something
that a lot.
unusual. The DNA of its black population didn't just trace back to West Africa, it went far deeper. Some of it couldn't even be found in modern African populations. It was as if their genes were carrying a secret, something ancient, untouched, and preserved. Why did certain genetic markers appear here, in isolated maroon villages, but not in the very regions these people were taken from?
Look at
Why
these
were
skin
fragments of
color,
their
bro.
ancestry older than the pyramids, older than written language? For centuries, this...
But you see them pictures that where if you see old people or black Indians, black people, is like, why y'all keep using? Why y'all trying to whitewash everything, bro? It's like they try to whitewash everything, bro.
question lingered. Then, Chronicles of Blacks. Modern science started unlocking answers. In 2013, researchers discovered something stunning, a Y chromosome so old it rewrote human history. It was called a 00, the oldest known Y DNA haplogroup on the planet. This haplogroup dates back over 338,000 years, older than the modern human species itself. It was first found in a black man in South Carolina named Albert Perry, whose paternal lineage traced back to Cameroon. But then something shocking happened. Geneticists began to find echoes of that same ancient A00 haplogroup and other related markers in some isolated Surinamese bloodlines, especially among the Saramaka and Ndiuka Maroons. These were not random mutations. They were relics of a time before colonization, before slavery, before the modern world. Traces of A00 and the closely related haplogroup A0 were embedded in the Y chromosomes of certain Afro-Surinamese men, evidence that their ancestry reached into a time when humanity was still becoming human. These genetic codes weren't diluted by time, they were concentrated, protected. But A00 was just the beginning. Other studies found an overwhelming presence of mitochondrial haplogroups L0, L1, L2, and L3, maternal lines that trace back to the earliest black women who walked the earth. These maternal lines are rarely found in such high concentrations today, even in Africa. But in Suriname, particularly in the interior Maroon settlements, up to 90% of black residents carry these markers, preserved through generations of isolation, rebellion, and cultural pride. These genes tell a story that textbooks ignored. They whisper of priestesses from the Yoruba kingdoms, matriarchs from the Congo forests, and mothers who fled the chains of slavery into the wilderness. In their blood, they carried the legacy of unbroken black motherhood, and in their genes, they encoded memories of a world untouched by European conquest. What makes Suriname unique is that the very act of rebellion, the Maroon escape into the rainforest, became a form of genetic preservation. Unlike other enslaved populations who were scattered, mixed, and assimilated, the Surinamese Maroons built independent nations deep in the jungle. They didn't just survive, they safeguarded a library of black genetic history, much of which is now lost elsewhere. This was no accident. This was resistance at the molecular level. To understand how these ancient genes survived in Suriname, we must journey back to the very origin of human DNA. Long before the transatlantic slave trade, before empires, kingdoms, or even cities, there were the first humans, dark-skinned, resilient, and deeply rooted in the heart of Africa. Their DNA wasn't primitive. It was the blueprint for every human alive today, and it still lives on in the blood of black Surinamese descendants. The oldest known Y chromosome lineage, a 00, as found in the descendants of Albert Perry, dates back more than 338,000 years. This lineage emerged before Homo sapiens as a species was fully formed. In essence, a 00 isn't just ancient, it may be the original. It is not commonly found in West Africa today, but it has been detected in remote populations in Cameroon's Mbio and Bakola tribes. Yet somehow, despite the centuries of death, dispersal, and colonization, Pieces of this genetic puzzle resurfaced in Suriname, thousands of miles away across the Atlantic Ocean. The presence of a 00 in Suriname shocked the scientific community. How did this ancient African marker survive the brutality of the Middle Passage, the violence of enslavement, and the cultural erasure of colonization? The answer lies not just in science, but in survival. The Maroons, those who escaped slavery and formed their own forest nations, became custodians of DNA that was centuries, even millennia, older than the colonial empires trying to erase them. This lineage was not alone. Surinamese DNA also features unusually high concentrations of haplogroups, E1b1a and E1a, markers commonly found in Bantu-speaking peoples of West and Central Africa. But in Suriname, these haplogroups weren't diluted by European admixture like in many other parts of the Americas. They remained pure, carried forward through carefully protected bloodlines and marital traditions passed down among the Maroon clans. On the maternal side, researchers have discovered that mitochondrial haplogroups L1 and L2 dominate Afro-Surinamese populations. These lineages trace back over 100,000 years to the earliest known matrilineal ancestors of modern humans. L1 is especially ancient, often associated with hunter-gatherer populations from Central Africa. L2, slightly younger, is thought to have originated in West Africa and spread widely during the rise of the Mali and Ghana empires. Yet in modern-day Ghana, Nigeria, and the Congo, regions devastated by colonial disruption and genetic mixing, the frequencies of these haplogroups have dropped. But in Suriname, isolated and self-governed Maroon communities preserved them at rates reaching over 80%, according to DNA samples collected between 2005 and 2015 by the African Diaspora Genome Project. This means that in some parts of Suriname, the average black resident may be carrying more ancestral African DNA than many people currently living in Africa itself. Their genes are older, less interrupted, more direct. They are a living time capsule. These findings shatter the narrative that black people were simply scattered and broken by slavery. In Suriname, they were hidden, but never lost. And their genes are not just markers of where they came from, they're evidence of what they survived. Hello, dear viewers. We noticed from our analytics that we are having an international community of viewers. Please tell us where you are watching from in the comment section below. They didn't just survive, they carried royal blood. The DNA of the black people of Suriname is not merely a record of enslavement. It is also a record of nobility, priesthood, and warrior heritage ripped from West Africa's most powerful empires. Long before the slave ships arrived, the regions of present-day Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, and Angola were home to structured societies, with dynasties that passed down not only titles, but also distinct genetic markers. And many of those markers still flow in the veins of Surinamese descendants. One of the most striking revelations from genetic and historical studies is that more than 60% of Afro-Surinamese people trace their ancestry to Akan-speaking populations, especially the Ashanti and Fante from Ghana. These weren't just commoners. European records from Dutch slave logs indicate that many enslaved people captured in coastal raids were political prisoners, warriors, and in some cases, heirs to royal households. In Akan culture, inheritance and power flowed through the mother's line. This means the mitochondrial DNA, passed exclusively from mother to child, was of supreme cultural and spiritual value. Today,
so y'all see how they had the political prisoners. It's like they were doing the same thing to us as we doing today. It's just a different, a more sophisticated way. It's like the history will show us that they doing it. They just know how to do things in a modern way. That's why it's so important to erase it, so you don't even know what happened back then. So you will be confused on how they pimping the game right now.
Today, that same maternal lineage lives on through the L2 haplogroup, which remains highly prevalent in Surinamese women. The L2A1 subclade, in particular, is linked to ancient matriarchal lines that governed social order, spiritual roles, and ancestral memory within Akan communities. This is not just genetics, this is living royalty passed down in secret. But the Ashanti were not the only people represented in Suriname's hidden bloodlines. There are also deep roots tied to the Congo Kingdom, one of the most powerful empires in Central Africa. The Bakongo and Mbundu peoples were among the most heavily targeted by the transatlantic slave trade, yet their spiritual systems, language patterns, and genetic footprints remain embedded in.
Shout out to you, Shabazz. Yeah, I did catch some stuff in the last video he said too. He is explaining some stuff. He probably ain't all the way right. And I appreciate you, Shabazz, for all your support, bro. You showed to the channel. And Aisha, man, supporting the channel. Captain Private. I appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, I catch it. I catch what you're saying, bro. I'm with you.
In maroon culture. Y chromosome haplogroups E1A and E1B, 1A, 1A, 1F, 1A, which are associated with these Central African populations, have been documented at extraordinarily high frequencies in Suriname's male lineages. Even more remarkably, some DNA samples have shown unique paternal haplogroup variants that are virtually extinct in modern Africa.
Monday CRM has the best AI
That's where
features
he
in
loses
especially
me.
in sales, hands down. So for me, email
when he's saying modern Africa, when like, because he did make a video, Shabazz, where he was saying that the lineage and everything comes from America, but I don't know why he linking it. But I think that, and I'm gonna show y'all a channel I watch, UBTV, where he say the same thing. America is the Egypt, and this was the place where everything started and it migrated from here out. So he put YouTube sell weed legally, white sell weed legally, and black men get locked up for selling it. Political prisoners, yeah. Same kind of political prisoners that it's just in a modern, sophisticated way. So we can't really understand because we don't know the
Rare subclades are believed to have been more widespread prior to European colonization and may represent the remnants of pre-imperial African bloodlines, ones that would have otherwise been erased from history had they not survived the crossing to Suriname. The Maroons, descendants of these escaped and defiant Africans, did not merely resist physical domination, they resisted genetic erasure. Through oral traditions, rituals, and marriage practices, they ensured that their ancestors lived on, not just in memory, but in blood. Their villages became sanctuaries for Black genetic memory. In fact, some Maroon communities, like the Saramaka, practiced strategic marital unions between lineages believed to carry strong blood, ensuring that certain ancestral traits, mental sharpness, physical endurance, spiritual strength, were passed on. The results are astonishing. Genetic studies show that in some Surinamese,
just like dog breeding. Now I learned this from dog breeding. Like when you get the right blood and they become smarter. Like my dog right now, this bully, he's smart. Like and it makes sense now. It's all coming. Let me let him cook.
Maroon populations, over 70% of individuals possess unbroken African maternal and paternal haplogroups with little to no European admixture. This level of purity is rare, even among populations in Africa today, where centuries of conflict and migration have blurred ancestral lines. In Suriname, however, the bloodlines of warrior queens, high priests, and ancient kings still pulse, silent, unseen, and undiluted. Their DNA did not bow, it rebelled, it adapted, and it survived. But their survival wasn't just African, it was also indigenous. Hidden within the DNA of many Afro-Surinamese lies another story, one that predates even the arrival of enslaved Africans. It is the story of the first people of the Americas, the original inhabitants of the land, now called Suriname. When enslaved Africans fled into the interior to escape the brutality of Dutch plantations, they didn't just vanish into the jungle. They encountered and, in many cases, united with the indigenous tribes already living there. These unions weren't just alliances, they were fusions of blood, culture, and survival. Genetic testing has revealed that many Maroon communities today carry mitochondrial haplogroups typically associated with Native American ancestry, particularly haplogroups A2, B2, and C1. These markers are passed exclusively from mother to child and are found in the Kalina, Carib, and Lokono, Arawak peoples, tribes native to Suriname's coastal and riverine regions. In one 2020 genetic study conducted on interior Maroon communities, it was found that up to 17% of the maternal DNA in some villages came from indigenous American sources. This is a staggering figure, especially considering that most of these communities identify almost exclusively as African in heritage. But the genes don't lie. These markers point to early, likely consensual, intermarriage between escaped African men and indigenous women who aided in their survival. These women, through their bodies, passed on the genetic memory of pre-colonial Suriname. What makes this discovery even more powerful is the cultural continuity that remains. Many Maroon customs, such as herbal medicine practices, ceremonial dress, and even some linguistic terms, mirror or blend with those of the Arawak and Carib traditions. These aren't coincidences. They are the echoes of a genetic bond formed in resistance to European domination. Moreover, certain immunological traits found in Afro-Surinamese populations, like enhanced resistance to tropical fevers and adaptation to swampy, humid environments, mirror those found in indigenous Amazonians. This has led scientists to speculate that gene flow from native ancestry may have provided critical biological advantages for Maroon survival in the unforgiving rainforests of Suriname. In some regions, particularly along the upper Marawine River, entire clans trace their lineage to specific alliances between African escapees and local indigenous communities. Oral histories from both Maroon and indigenous elders tell stories of shared battles, joint rituals, and blood oaths of protection. These aren't just myths, they are living genealogies. This hybrid heritage, African and indigenous, makes the Surinamese genome one of the most unique on Earth. It is a double helix of rebellion, interwoven with two strands of people who resisted colonization on different continents. And within their children, those two legacies became one. Today, that legacy remains encoded in the very blood of Suriname. Every child born into a Maroon or Afro-Indigenous household carries the genetic evidence of a forgotten alliance. One forged not in slavery, but in liberation. Their DNA is a treaty, a memory, a promise that even in the face of empire, the roots of two worlds would tangle together and hold strong. Deep in the forests of Suriname, where no plantation overseer could reach and no colonial document could erase, a miracle of genetic resistance took shape. These were the Maroons, fugitives, warriors, nation builders. They didn't just escape slavery, they rewrote their destiny. And in doing so, they became guardians of a black genetic archive that remains unmatched anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. What makes Maroon genetics so unique isn't just what they preserved, but how intentionally they did it. Unlike enslaved populations in cities or on plantations, the Maroons had the autonomy to control their reproduction, their rituals, and their bloodlines. They built complex clan systems where oral history and spiritual knowledge determined who could marry whom.
Control the blood of, they do that. We see that the Caucasians do that, especially the small hat people. They do that. They make sure that they people coming together with the people that got the right blood. That's crazy, especially with having kids.
Families with specific traits, resilience to disease, physical strength, dream interpretation, or leadership, were revered and encouraged to pass on their genes. Modern DNA studies confirm the result: extraordinarily high levels of ancestral African haplogroups. Among the Saramaka Maroons, over 75% of men carry variants of haplogroup E1B1A, the same Y chromosome lineage dominant among West African warrior classes. In many other Afro-descendant populations across the Americas, this marker has been diluted through European or native admixture, but not here. In Suriname, it remains strong, clear, and pure. On the maternal side, the story is just as striking. Mitochondrial DNA from lineages L0, L1, and L3 are found in abundance. Haplogroups that originated with the very first modern humans. L0, one of the rarest and most ancient, is almost entirely extinct in West Africa, due to migration and intermixing.
Mm.
Yet among some maroon women in Suriname, L0 has reappeared, a genetic ghost from over 100,000 years ago. It didn't survive in Africa, but it survived here. How? Through rebellion, through isolation, through a conscious refusal to be absorbed into the systems of European dominance. The forest protected them, and they protected their bloodlines. There's even more. Genetic research has identified rare subclades of African haplogroups in Suriname that are now virtually impossible to find elsewhere. Some of these may represent ancient branches of African family trees that were wiped out during the colonization of the continent. In other words, Suriname may be one of the last places on Earth where certain ancestral African DNA still exists in its original form. And this isn't just theoretical. These genetic legacies have biological consequences. Maroon populations have shown remarkable resistance to diseases that decimated both Europeans and non-Maroons. During yellow fever outbreaks, for instance, death rates among Maroon groups were significantly lower than among nearby settlers. Their immunity wasn't luck, it was lineage, a combination of inherited traits from African resistance and indigenous environmental adaptation. In fact, some geneticists believe that studying the Maroons could unlock medical insights into malaria resistance, immune system strength, and even longevity. Their bodies aren't just survivors, they're archives. But what's most profound is what this says about memory. Not the kind found in books, but the kind encoded in DNA. The Maroons didn't write their history on paper. They wrote it in blood, in chromosomes, in sequences, in every heartbeat passed from parent to child. Their DNA didn't just carry the trauma of slavery, it carried the blueprint for resistance.
Right.
The story hidden in Suriname's DNA doesn't end with resistance. It pushes into the future with revelations that could challenge everything we think we know about Black biology, medicine, and even human history.
Wow.
For decades, scientists believed that the forced displacement of Africans during slavery led to the loss of countless genetic traits. But in Suriname, the opposite appears to be true. The genes didn't vanish. They concentrated. They evolved. Modern studies now reveal that certain Surinamese communities possess genetic traits that defy expectations.
I think that I like what you said, Aisha. You said that Black men are too horny to be in other races. And that's probably why they sexualize us, because they didn't want us to be like understanding on our DNA, our blood, so we can be. You see what he said? He said that when the blood was pure, when it was matched with each other, it was less that you would get sick. It was just a lot going on. So it's making me think that they knew this information. So they understand if you mix bloods, that's why they probably bringing people from over here and bringing us over here, because we're more prone to be sick. We can catch diseases. Did y'all catch that? Or am I tripping? Why not hypothesize that and originated from the old world America? We were all land connected before the big flood. Not all can say originated in Africa. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, make sure I hit
Traits not commonly found even among African or Afro-Caribbean populations. One such example is the Duffy null genotype, a mutation that offers natural resistance to malaria. While this genotype is common in sub-Saharan Africa, what shocked researchers is how nearly universal it is among Surinamese Maroons. In one study, nearly 98% of tested individuals carried this protective mutation, an unusually high frequency that suggests intentional genetic retention over generations. Even more surprising is the presence of a lactase persistence, the ability to digest milk into adulthood in a significant percentage of Afro-Surinamese individuals. This trait is typically rare among West Africans, yet appears with increasing frequency in Maroon populations. Some scientists suspect Eden's early indigenous intermarriage. possibly with tribes that domesticated animals or consumed dairy-like foods as a source of this unexpected gene. Others believe it may stem from East African ancestry that found its way into Suriname's genomes through unknown pre-colonial migrations. Then there's the immune system. A 2022 genomic study conducted by the Suriname Biomedical Institute uncovered variants in immune response genes, specifically in the HLA gene complex, that showed a unique combination of African, indigenous, and rare Eurasian alleles. This hybrid configuration has never been seen elsewhere. It appears to offer an unusually high resistance to inflammatory diseases, viral infections, and even some types of cancer. One researcher...
Dang, so I'm trying to put this together, and I hope y'all catching this, bro. When you don't keep the blood pure, and I'm talking about as far as for us, with our genes, it just keeps you very strong. You're not going to be able to get much sickness and cancers. It's just crazy how that is. That's deep. Who survived Ebola outbreak was probably a Mason. So this is probably the knowledge that they understand that, if certain black people keep their blood together and they stay, smarter, healthier, because and I don't like to compare us with dogs, but with certain breeding of dogs, you notice that they're very much smarter. They're more, when they got the bloodline of their original ancestors. He cooking on this one, man.
From the project wrote, these DNA sequences represent a convergence of ancient adaptations. It's as if the body of the average Surinamese maroon was forged in 3 fires: African, Amazonian, and ancestral. These discoveries are more than biological curiosities, they are revolutionary. The very traits that helped black people survive enslavement, disease, and starvation may hold untapped medical potential. Pharmaceutical companies and genetic researchers are now quietly studying these lineages, searching for clues to immunity, endurance, and cellular memory. Yet few acknowledge where these traits come from, or the price paid to preserve them. But the most powerful discovery of all may be what Surinamese genes reveal about identity. In a world that tries to define blackness through suffering and loss, these genes tell a different story. One of power, one of adaptation, one of intentional preservation. Their DNA is not broken, it is resilient, precise, and sacred, is a living map of triumph, a record of a people who outran death, outlived slavery, and outsmarted extinction. Their blood tells a truth that history books forgot, that black bodies are not relics of oppression, but vessels of unmatched strength, memory, and brilliance. In Suriname, that brilliance never faded, it evolved. So if you've made it to the end of this story, know this: you are part of something eternal. The genes carried by the people of Suriname are not just theirs, they are yours. They are ours. A reminder that no matter how many times they tried to bury our past, we are the descendants of those who could not be destroyed. If this truth moved you, there is more. Subscribe and join us.
Dang, it's deep, man. It's deep. So there you go. I mean, we have to know our bloodline to know how to that bloodline is very important. I think. But it is FBA that taught them cultures. American pyramids are older. Many say American itself is the oldest continent. Yeah. That's what we know. We know it originated from here in America. I think he was trying to say that. Rayhead was saying that, I guess he was bringing up the sickness that they have over there and the fact that we had a blood that wasn't like they didn't get sick. They didn't, they didn't die from diseases and stuff like that. So it's crazy all the information that they know that they hold from us. So it's like We got to get our information back. But yeah, this was a deep one, y'all. This was deep. But Judas shall not punish. But yeah, so that's why they try to point us back to other countries and flood other countries with people. It's a lot of just like they do animals and breeding. It's like bad blood breeding going on right now. These doctors know that. That's why they taught us. Because the doctors then benefit off of these diseases, so they understand if we mix all the bloodlines and keep the pure people pure. Because you notice all the presidents, they said they blood like linked to each other, like they got a bloodline connection. So they understand. Let everybody else just mix their blood all the way up. We ain't worrying about them. And the only people that's practicing that pure blood is the people that's on the top. That's very, very, very interesting right there. So we got to get back to that. We got to start having our people practicing blood, like blood type. But man, 9 DNA series, God gene. Straight up. I like that. Like I said. Yeah, I'm gonna keep tapping into this into this subject. I want to hear what y'all got to say about this, man, before I close out, man. If any of y'all want to call in and speak about it on what your thoughts. My thoughts came into about the breeding. All the presidents are connected cousins, but Barack's mother's mother came out the bloodline. Shout out Shabazz. Okay. I'm late, but I'll watch the replay. Hope all is well, everyone. Appreciate you, LA Hopkins. LA Hopkins for tapping in. Yeah, you got to check this one out. This one was deep, especially towards the end about the tribes, how the tribes was erased. I got into the Mayan tribe and was trying to let people understand that those were black people. And they try to, in history, they try to make it seem like these people are like Mexican or, but they're actually black people. It was something where they said that the Mexican, the people that are in Mexico, their blood type like matches the Philippines or something. It's like it don't even fit for that land. So they've been doing a lot of crossbreeding, putting actual breeds of people in certain parts of the land just to confuse who people are. So it's deep, man. It's real deep. But it's crazy at that. Yeah, I had to tap into this, man, knowing FBA history. I'm gonna keep on this subject so we can get more understanding of how to move. Yeah, like Manigold. And I am doing a meeting tomorrow, y'all, for the Wealth Builders gang. Y'all know how we do. Put like Manigold. Monogolio. I don't know what let me research that. That's the first time I heard what that mean, man. Monogolio. What that mean, fam? A person with Down syndrome. So basically what you saying is, something else I started to look into is the smallpox virus that was supposedly passed through blankets. I can't figure that one out considering how long a virus lives outside its host and have plasma banks in the hood. Bro, What's up with them plasma banks, bro? I never wanted to. I hate seeing how people go there, bro. Made me always feel some type of way, bro.
From Aisha.
Hey, Aisha.
Hey, you know I had to call in.
I appreciate you.
So listen, yeah, so along the lines of what you're talking about, like we as a people have to realize that our melanated skin and our genes are a gift, and we give it away too freely to other races. And then you have people out here, like you said, the Mexicans, screaming that they're not black, they me no black, and not realizing that our melanated skin is actually a gift. And I know my genes are strong because I have Indian, African in my blood, and I feel like that's why I was able to survive when I was young, and the doctors experimented on me a couple of times, and I feel like that's why I came through and prevailed, because my genes were strong. And I did my work too, because my son is highly melanated, and he procreated with 2 highly melanated sisters, and we have 2 highly melanated grandchildren. So yeah, but yeah, our skin and our genes is a gift, and we shouldn't give it away freely. We shouldn't be ashamed of it, and we shouldn't try to deny it and water it down. That's all I had to say. Thanks for letting me come up.
Definitely. Hold on, I want to ask you a question, Aisha. So you feel like we should not be intermixing with anybody else but melanated or our blood type? What you think about that?
Well, that's a hot topic, buddy. Okay, so I do feel like the brothers, it's systemic racism and brainwashing. I feel like the brothers are definitely more susceptible to intermixing with other races, and it happens more frequently with our black men. But I don't feel like it's per chance. I feel like it's on purpose. I feel like the women know. These women of all these other races, they know that they're strengthening their genes when they get that they know.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm not saying, and the saying goes, love is love, but we really need to we have something great here, and we need to protect it and be less frivolous with it. I feel,
But I'm saying the small hat people, they do not mix their blood, their DNA with no other race. They make sure they conserve
When's the last time you seen a Hindu with a black woman or any other race? You don't really see Mexicans and stuff like that chasing all women around, or it's usually, you know what I'm saying, our men, and then it's other women, because they feel like there's a lot of benefits to intermixing with black men, and I wish black men could see that, and I wish that our people could get along better, you know what I'm saying, and work on our own relationships instead of like just trashing each other and running down the street or across or being a passport bro and all this other stuff. Like, we really need to come together. Yeah, we do.
I want to ask you a question. You said it's benefits to intermixing with a black man. What would they get out of it? What, the child will be able to not get sick? Tell me, like, what is it that black blood is gold? What is it, getting that black blood?
On just a basic level, intermixing for legalization, and then we are the everything descends from the highly melanated, and now we're finding out even more so the highly melanated here from the Americas, and so you do get a stronger human. I mean, a melanated human is a stronger human being. That's just that's science, and so they realize this. The sun is baking some of these people out here, and when you intermix it and the skin is more melanated, that's more protection. It's more protection medically, in a lot of different ways. So yeah. resisting disease. Like there's a lot of different things. It's a stronger child. I'm sorry, but a melanated child is just a stronger, more resilient, sometimes more intelligent, more athletic child. I mean,
I agree.
it is what it is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But what I'm saying is the Hindus don't want to, like you just said, is Indian people and the Jewish people that they don't want to intermix with us. But we got some, I guess it's the Caucasian, they'll mix with us, you know, and I guess everybody else. Those are the two that I see that, like what you claim, they don't really mix, you know, with us. But
I think that with just the regular Caucasian, it's bittersweet because on the one hand, they hate our guts. They know they owe us reparations. And then on the other hand, they know that their birth rate is declining. They also know that, you know, the sun is baking them to a crisp. And so it's kind of like they need to, it's kind of like they want to intermix, but they don't. But so a lot of them go ahead and do it, you know, so that's kind of like a personal choice with them, but it's to their benefit to mix with us. It is.
Yeah, so, I agree. It's sad, but man, we got somebody that says, well, we collectively have to work on the trauma of our people. Definitely. I agree with that. So I appreciate you, Aisha, for calling in. Definitely, you opening my mind.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Keep tapping in. I love hearing your perspective.
Thank you. I sure will.
All right.
All right.
You have a good night. Man, I want to get what y'all think, man, before we close it up. I want to get one more opinion, man, on this, on our blood and how we should be procreating. I hate to compare us to dogs, bro, but I mean, that's what came to my mind when I heard them say, like, diseases and they smarter. It's like them dogs sometimes when they got that pure blood of their ancestors, they be smart, sharp, don't get sick. Collectively working on trauma is crazy. Call in, Trail. Let me know what you're thinking about that, man. You said collectively working on trauma is crazy. What you mean by that, fam? I want to learn. I want to learn more. What you mean by that? Y'all saying that you're getting strength all over when you mix with blacks. But I think different black people, and now they didn't say that in this video, but I feel like we have a lot of mixing in black tribes that wasn't supposed to be mixed, in my opinion. I think we're more diverse in where certain tribes need to mix with certain tribes, and I think that all of the taking them over here, taking them over there, I think it could make some people get sick, like we seeing over there. So just like they tried to bring them people over here, like they're bringing them over here. I think it's on a breeding process. But that's just, you know, I got to get more facts, but that's just where I'm at. Sun people, you said. Okay. Yeah, we is the sun people. But they was explaining in this video, y'all, that it's different types of blood of black people. So it's not like we all had the same, just because you got the melanin in your skin. You know, it is people that you can mix with, that's your people, that your blood type just ain't hitting. It's not a connect. Did y'all catch that, or is that just me? You know? Boy, say collectively working on trauma is crazy. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button for me. Definitely appreciate it. But I'm gonna be tapping into more of this subject. Because every time I'll be hearing more about the DNA, but I haven't watched enough to know what's going on. But how can we collectively work on something that is in the past? Moving forward is the only medicine to me. You put moving forward is the only medicine to me. Okay. They did breed us like horses and cattle to be strong, resilient, etc. True, some melanated people are questionable. I mean, they breed us, man, to try to be strong just like dogs, man. Like, it's crazy. But they owe us a treaty. Almost definitely. Work on something from the past that's still present, sir. That's still present, sir. So you saying work on something from the past that's still present, sir. Also, you was referring to what Trev Jackson said. I'm with both of y'all on that. You know, we gotta move forward, but we gotta be able to, just like I said that they erased the history. So when you go, we was talking about the political prisoners. If you don't know about the political prisoners in this video that they were talking about back then, and Aisha brought up something that was like the cannabis was like political prisoners, you know. So it was like they run the same game over you on you because you're not familiar with it. We've been trying to move forward. It's a few groups of people who won't let it happen. I agree. Because if you look at the 1900s, our Wall Street days, if you look at, they do get groups of the Divine Nine, our black influencers, what they call it, the black elite. They put these people in position and they don't talk about advancing the bottom. Like, think about this, y'all. You don't see no small hat person that's poor in the streets begging for money. Nobody in their people is poor. Like, you don't see no small hat community poor. Like, they make sure they take care of their whole, everybody gonna have a place to stay, something to eat. You know, you go into our neighborhoods and some of our places, bro. I'd be upset, bro, that, you know what I'm saying? We got people that is poor, that don't got nothing to eat, that don't, you know what I mean? That's my point. It's like we got too much money. We generating too much money to be having people that ain't got nowhere to stay, people that ain't, you know, I went to the library with my kids and I see somebody in the, you know, like sleeping in the library, not sleeping, but in there in the library on their phone. That look like they ain't take a shower. It's just like, we don't see this with other communities, bro. With the small hat community first, we've been jumping fences. And it's like, damn, bro. We don't never look good until all of us has to be coming together where we're not being, all of us got to look at least like we're good. And that's what I see that I want to duplicate in our community, because I'm from South Carolina and I'm fourth generation free slave, bro. My great grandmother lived on one of Alexander Hamilton's sons and remember South Carolina till he died in 1935. Those people with the money aren't our people. They look at us, but not us. They look like us, but not us. Yeah, the small hats is on cold, bro. You don't never see them. They linking up with each other, bro. They not, ain't none of that. They ain't leaving nobody behind, bro. We be having too many people strung out that's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just tough, bro. FBA original. Yeah, that's South Carolina blood different. I'm from South Carolina and I'm fourth generation free slave, bro. My great grandmother lived on Alexander Hamilton's son. Remember, South Carolina till he died. Damn. Salute, man. All I'm saying is, our people, like you said, they just look like us, but they controlled by the top, bro. They give them access to not liberate the people. Their job is to not liberate the people. I'm Rembert, South Carolina. Okay. People with slave blood still feel it. I'm an example. Our ancestors don't gotta travel to reach us. They are they are here thousands of years worth of ancestors. But I believe that. As a people, we have abandoned one another, and in doing so, we've deeply wounded ourselves. Our disconnection has cost us our strength, our compassion, and our unity. Yeah, bro. Shout out to A.L. Lawrence. Yeah, like we gotta start caring about the people at the bottom. Like, we gotta like that's the crew we gotta get together, because if we have people at the bottom, our bottom people that can't perform and help us and get and keep everything move in motion, it's just we're gonna be divided. Anybody that's left behind wanted to be there. We can take them to the water, but but I'm saying it's an example of I'm showing you how the small hat people are. A guy told me one time, bro, he don't even go to no hotels. They stay at they people cribs. They don't move, like they got a unity code, bro. You know what I mean? They make sure each other's good. Doge over there laughing. She put up, we gotta stop fighting, but they have had us fighting each other for so long. No one wants to stop. Yeah, like we see each other and we be like, yeah, like, dang, we can't take all of us with us. You know what I mean? Like, dang, we gotta leave them behind. But it's the look, bro. We can't have our people looking. It's hard to be thinking your society gonna be excel and you got people at the bottom that's begging for 25 cents. It's like we got to get past that. You know what I'm saying? Popping, Mr. Johnson. For real, what's good, Doge? Yeah, man, we just going over this, trying to stay on code. Y'all know how we do. Always trying to uplift the people, man. So yeah, we got to find a strategy. We got to kick to it. We do got to move forward, but we got to look at the success that's being done with other people's cultures, because they done mixed our mind up that where we don't know they done stole our juice. I be trying to change my neighbors, but they like drama and fighting. I just stopped helping them, all because they just can't stop. I know, man, it could be so hard. I understand exactly where y'all coming from, but it hurts us, bro. It hurts us that we got our bottom is like that. It's sad, but it's hard to feel like you doing good and you see your people poor in the street. You see your people walking around in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't make you feel right inside, bro. Every time I see my people out there, like, damn, bro. We should be able to click together, group economics, and get everybody together. So you be dropping great knowledge. Great talking with you the other day. Salute, Black. Yeah, man, that was great talking to you too, bro. To get to know you. I love getting to know my people, man. I feel like everybody got a talent. And I be trying to bring us together, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, cause I don't like to see us being used. And I feel like now into today's society. We being used, and we need to come together. Man, they did it by coming together. Brothers had love for each other. Like, and I feel like if they could do it, I could do it. I ain't so we just can't give up, man. Just like how people get success off of anything else they do, you got to keep at it. Good people is going to come around you, you know what I mean? So a lot of y'all are very supportive of me too, and I appreciate that dearly, man. Shabazz, Captain Private, you Aisha, Nikki P, a lot of people that's in my chat, and that's one of the main things of how to grow a group of people. It has to be pure love and support. Sometimes when people look at things, they be trying to think of, what's in it for me? We need to start looking at things as a collective, bro. And that's what hurt us a lot of time. A lot of us we stuck on trying to get something out of everything instead of always trying to make a collective. That's what I seen with the Black Panther Party. It was about a collective. I knew Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, but bro, they had a lot of brothers that was just wanted to support the cause by any means necessary. It wasn't about who at the top, who getting this. And from me, being an owner of a business for years and years and having to interview people and stuff like that, it's like I see that a lot of people are just on what's in it for me. And it's hard to get somewhere like that because when people sense that you like that, it's like they throw their guard up with you. Like anybody that come at me like that, like if they always about me, and they not just a genuine person that want to get things together, is like, it could be something bad that's into that kind of vibe. So I appreciate all the support and love that the people give me. I just want everybody to know that because that love is genuine. That's showing you a genuine person when you just want to see people do good and you want to see the best for your people, bro. It's hard out here to have that kind of energy. The little hat prospered because they live by enduring truth, community and survival, memory and strength, and education and liberation. They see wealth as means to uplift and practice faith daily. For real. Yeah, I'm telling you. But yeah, man, I've been pushing, just keep trying to push this, man. I want to like I be looking at stuff with how the Black Panther Party's been, and I always like, man, I would have loved to be around brothers like that. And there's brothers out here like that. I ain't gonna even say that it ain't. It's people that support the same way. It's just a lot of toxic stuff that is being pushed and spread to make our people not trust each other. That's why I appreciate everybody who talked to me. Shout out to my boy Don Jeter. He just see me on here and was like, bro, I trust you. I could tell you got good, like your energy is good. You care about us. Just to hear people and know that they just trust you. They know that you is hard to come around. And I try to practice that with people, bro. Like, I want you to know that you trust it, bro. I don't want you to think that somebody got to look at you like a scammer or anything like that. It's just, it's important to let people know that they good people because we keep spreading the narrative like we got to stay away from our people, bro, and it's not good. So I appreciate the people that come to me and just to hit me and be like, man, I appreciate how you be saying. I feel like you're a good brother. I appreciate that. That's the most love. That's the best love that you can get. You know, you are around brothers like that. There was toxicity and mistrust back in the days. Fred's own brother betrayed him. Yeah, man. And I go over that Fred Hampton, William O'Neal. Mm-hmm. He betrayed him, and that brother felt bad about betraying him too. But dang, it's like it's so easy. It's so much more comfortable, man, when you're around a lot of people that you trust. Like I went to this I was talking to this guy and he was telling me how it was a black dude, how he had somebody work for him that was black, and they was supposed to drop money off to the bank and stole $2,000. And you know, it was just, I was upset hearing it, and I'm just like, man, we gotta be able to understand and stay on the code, bro. But when you do have that group of people that principles, morals, they stick together and they all about the collective, that's when we're gonna be seeing results. But I get what you're saying, Aisha. You saying plus the small hats are some conniving, racist, greedy bastards. They ain't all that. No, they ain't all that. But you know what? They practice group economics. I tell you that, and they get money with each other. They loan each other money with no taxes. They don't tax each other. You know what I mean? So it's like we be taxing our brothers every chance we get, man. You know, if we can make some money, you know, it's like we need more purity and unity so we all can come together, bro. We need people that just, we gotta find somebody that we know that we gotta trust. Shout out to Maxine Watson. I appreciate you tapping in. But big on pure. Yeah, the own code for themselves. Yeah, bro. People are on code for themselves. And it shows, man. Sometimes they don't know because I got people that talk to me that really just want me to do, they want to see it happen. They just with love and compassion, bro. So it's easy when you have people that just, they be caring. Cause I'm like that, man. If I see somebody, I want to show them love to keep them going. There's people that, the reason why I'm going on this YouTube channel, cause they like, brother, keep going. They just give me that good positive energy to keep going. And it's like nothing like that. And the more we get into that, the more we can block out all toxic and selfish and just be able to come together. I think Muslim be on code too. What you said, Muslims say one is not allowed to charge interest on loan. They opposite from the small hats. Yeah, bro. It's like to see, I like how the Muslims be doing their thing too, how they got that discipline with each other. You know, they be on a different type of level. But we see it all the time. We see people that have that love and support for each other. We gotta be able to bring it back, you know, to us. But all y'all support and love is much appreciated here, man. And you also gotta let people know, you know, when they showing their love and appreciation, because we need to keep spreading it out. Let's religion is a problem. It's dividing FBA into groups. Then I went to the grocery store and I seen a dude out there talking Jesus Christ, and he talking about Christianity. And he's sitting out there for hours talking on the microphone. And I'm like, our people got to understand we need real speaking on action. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to be saying that, you know, because but we have to do real action. We got to practice real principles and stuff that's really going to benefit the community as well. We got to, you know, we definitely can praise the Most High. Most High is helping us. He's standing with us. We are an example. Like he made us like him. We got to be able to take control and stop just thinking that things is just going to happen without no action, without no work. You know, that's what I wish my people would be more pushing on. Like, bro, we got to do something. We have to come together. We can't just, if that was the case, we could have just, everything would be fixed. Things ain't fixed. Things is messed up. We can't just keep saying, you know, reading verses of the Bible and thinking that it's gonna change the community. You know, I don't think it's gonna do that. Big Mama was the cook, the bank, the church, the wisdom, the fight, the love, always there and ready for anything. Yeah. TJ put right. Soapbox poverty. Doge, what you mean by that, man? Soapbox poverty. TJ Jones, you said right. What you laughing, man? What I said? And they ain't trying to hit on nobody religion. It's just at this point, you know, one of the guys I like to listen to, I like to hear was Stephen Darby. He'll be talking about actual action plan, what we need to be doing. These people are corrupting us. We got to get over. It's like we can't be this little soft group of people that's just praying to the sky, hoping something change. We got to actually do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop with all that trying to preach at people at the grocery stores and you saying all of this, but there's no action. There's no action that's taking place. You know what I'm saying? See, the Black Panther, they did action. You know, they were trying to protect their people. You know, Black Wall Street was action, you know. Competing with each other, growing our own food, like the Bible say. Yeah, bro. We got to stick together, man. I can't stand words with no action, bro. I can't stand it. It just, when I'm getting back on the app tomorrow, y'all, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to put the thing on the meeting. Every 2 days, I like to do a meeting with us about group economics on what we can all come together to do. I got some ideas, and I'll be trying to pull my people together so we can do something. Self-preservation. I want all us to make money too. I want it to be I want us to generate income for ourselves. I don't want us to have to depend on any other cultures but ourselves. And then I want us to expand and be able to help people. That's my vision. So y'all gonna tap in. I'm gonna leave that in the description, man. I be having some meetings in there, and I wish y'all could come, man. Just bring your pure heart, especially if you pure hearted, you love your people. This is a, you know, this is a place where I like to really do something. Come and see, it's about action. I ain't with that other praying to the sky and waiting on somebody to. No, we don't do the, you know. The Most High already gave me everything I need. He want action. He want me to take the steps that's needed. True, but a lot of things that are in the Bible were copied from ancient texts. Oh, exactly. Yes, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I would like to get some of y'all ideas, some things that y'all, you know, would like to help out, you know, just so we can get things going. And I put that in the Discord. Yes, the Discord be popping. For real, man. And I appreciate everybody who coming and trying to put it together, man. You is exactly what we need. Doge, what's good, man?
So what's popping, all the guys?
Good,
what
man.
Y'all cover tonight?
Man, we covered just the DNA, man, and I was just speaking about you know, the people coming together. We're speaking about the blood type. I know you probably missed out on that. The blood type that could make your blood more accessible to injuries. I mean, not injuries, but sickness and disease. You put OO. Yeah.
Wow. Heavy. Very heavy stuff right there.
Very heavy, man. Very heavy.
Glad to see your audience growing and growing.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, y'all listen, and it's the people like you, bro, and people like everybody who've been helping out and showing that support. So my channel is it's a example of what people can do if they stick together and support people. You know what I mean? And I feel like great things is coming out of it because of people like you, people like Aisha, you know, a lot of the people that support me.
I have a question though about the gentleman who was on preaching. How big was his audience?
It was nobody around.
Oh wow!
He was preaching like on the corner of, it was like the grocery store right here. He was right here, and I'm just like, I'm looking and I'm like, bro, we need action. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't go do it.
Yeah, the little babies, they can't digest words, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not that way, you know? They don't, not that type of nutritional value in words, you know? You gotta see that action. You live in a world of activity.
Facts.
You know? But I'd add on and say, you know, do you have any idea what the fastest growing religion on planet Earth is in 2025?
Christianity?
Nah.
Is it scientific that what's that new stuff that Scientology?
Nah. The fastest growing religion right now on planet Earth in 2025 is Faith No More.
Faith No More? Never heard of
More people are going without faith.
That's scary.
Yeah. Yep. In numbers too. You can hear them. The church, hardly any youth in there.
Because people don't understand that.
It's a dating center.
Yeah. The God in us, it's like we don't understand, you know what I mean? That we got the capabilities of being great. I don't like that we look at ourselves as, but that's crazy, man. I'm glad I didn't hear about it, but we gotta start to get back on the right path, man. What you put, the church can no longer.
Did you hear about Atlanta losing its majority black FBA status?
No.
Yeah, that's those articles and news, news columns on it. Yeah. I guess a lot of people from California, New Jersey, New York, they just flooded it, and it's lost its ranking with who owns things on a whole residential, who's getting kicked out
right
faster as FBA. But they saying it's being gentrified. Scary times though, but a lot of major cities, that's what's going on too.
Right.
Where do you think we going?
Where I think we going? I think it's the same thing, the same game that's playing is just in modern times. You know what I mean? I think the same game has been going on. They just remixing it. So it's like, that's why history is so important to be rewritten. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they say in even what's it called? Inglewood. Gentrified.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
But you see how that
and everybody kicking everybody's asses out.
Yeah. This is why we got to start buying our land. This is a time where we got to stick together because it's more important. It's more poor people in the streets, bro, in the black community, bro. Like when you go to black communities, we seeing more and more poor people.
Correct.
And poverty brings the higher ups love poverty, bro, because it makes people at a advantage to do whatever they want for $1. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't get a person that's getting money and doing things the right way. You can't get them to do certain things, but you can get a person in poverty to do pretty much anything for $1 or for a meal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Scary things can happen when a person doesn't have that power of paper in their pocket, you know?
Yeah.
You know? But I didn't want to hold you too long.
Oh,
you
man.
know, I got to land my plane. I'm going to tune back in.
For real, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, stay on code, bro.
For real. On code. Man. So it's like you demand either way unless you in the southern state or out west. Yeah, that's why we have to do something. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should be in some type of group economics group. If you not in no type of group that's practicing group economics, you off code. I don't care how you feel about anything. If you're not trying to practice this, you're off code. We need to start telling people that. You know, I'm putting a link in the description. Everybody, I don't care who you is. If you are people, you FBA, you have to be into some type of group economics. By you not practicing it, it's a, you know, that's like the worst thing ever. Because you're not doing nothing for the people that's coming behind you. That's what we got to think about. We got to set things up for the people that's coming behind us. We can't leave them in the world where they're going to be begging people and trying to, like, you know, in poverty. It ain't right, you know? So we have to make sure that we all practicing. Everybody you run into, bro, you practicing group economics? You got a group you in, you got a group, y'all trying to make things happen, y'all moving. You can't just be sitting up on your phone, you know what I'm saying? You got to be making stuff happen. Coming together. Look what our people did with the Black Panther Party. It's like, this ain't the time no more. You know, that's how I'm looking at people nowadays out here. I'm like, yo, look, we got to be doing something. Because look, power tools. Yeah. It's just not right to me, bro. I feel like it's not right for you not to be practicing the stuff that our ancestors that was winning did. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking about putting a community garden on a portion of my town to grow things for themselves. Definitely. All that. Anything group economics, you know, like I'm trying to get in different cities and different states. I'm trying to partner with my brothers in different states so we can generate an income for us, you know. That's my goal. I'm trying to, like, anything that we can do with garden, like, we just have to be on code. That is part of being on code. Not just that you're not hating on black people, or you know, you have to be doing something for the progress of the people as a whole. You know, we need to make moves, and then the youth will see the progress, right? Because when I seen the Black Panther Party, them moving like that, I'm like, dang, I love that. You know, my grandma was like in the she was like in a group with the Black, and I'd be asking her about it, you know, like how the Black Panther Party was. Like, I be wanting to talk to the people who've been around that kind of movement, because, bro, that was love. Like, they loved everybody, bro. They had breakfast for the kids. We got to get back to that, bro. We got to get back to showing each other love and caring about us, man. It starts with us. That's what Trev Jackson always be telling me, bro. It starts with us. So if it starts with me, man, I just try my best. He said, bring your dollar bag and your weapon. If you don't have one, sell your coat and get one. Have cash and weapons. All right. For real, we got to get on that community garden. We got to get on growing food. Like, just like on my video, I played what Dr. Claude Anderson said. We need to be trying to control water, food, energy, and medicine. We have to have some type of group economics on that, and we need to understand what we're doing. Or it's like, so that's the name of the game, man. We need to start having people check people out there. Sell your coat and get a weapon is the Bible. Get with it. Right. We got to have our people, man. You got to get with it. You got to get with something, bro. We need to have small groups around this place, bro, where we making sure that everybody on code. Not everybody just, you know, divided, and we trying to make it happen. And We getting hated on. You got people jealous. People really about the money, wanting to know how much money they get in, and it's like it just gets so difficult that it's not even, So that's a quote for real, bro. It starts with us. I'm gonna put that on some shirts, man. So y'all don't know, I'm having a Discord meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We talk, probably about 30 minutes. I like to give people they love. I like to hear people because I feel like if we put our heads together, we can do stuff. That's how the Black Panther Party was got to next level. Got to have people put their heads together and have the idea and self-preservation. Then we could generate revenue for each other. So we don't really have to be out here dependent. We got women that shouldn't have to be, into these other institutions, man. Our goal is to be into our institutions. That's the goal. We got to understand where we got to be at. We can't be helping other institutions right now with work. We got to do it to get started, to do everything we got to do. But the goal is that we have to be beneficial to our own institutions, Everyone has a talent, for real. Everybody got a talent, bro. I'm with you on that, but we got to get to the point where we benefit in our own institutions and not how the higher ups been using us for years. Put man in the mirror. I don't know what you mean by that, but man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in on this show. We're gonna go live tomorrow on the Discord. If you're not, please, man, hit the Discord with some ideas, support the channel, just try to do some things to bring people together. Share my YouTube and let people know so they can hear this. They need to understand what stand on code is in 2025. Okay, stand on code in 2025 is a little bit different. Now things done change, We each play a role. We can't each do everything, but together we can and have backups. Salute. Bro, appreciate you, Will Johnson. Appreciate everybody, man. Yam Star, Aisha, Black, Be With the Wind. Everybody who tapped in, man. Make sure y'all try to tap in tomorrow. Definitely. Make sure y'all try to tap in tomorrow. Give some thoughts. Let's come together. Garden, food, health, wealth, better understand the self. It's up to us. So let's put in that action work, man, and make it happen, man. We'll be so much happy and feel so much better, man, when we get great results. So listen, peace. I love y'all. Stay safe out there. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow.